Hi and welcome back to the channel. I've been away for 2 months, no videos, but I'm coming back with some interesting content. I hope you will enjoy. This is a video I started 6 months ago in the middle of winter. I got it almost finished and then, I don't know, life got in the way and I never really edited the final version. It is a reflection about things, or call it pitfalls or habits that may kill the magic of running. I mean, if you're a runner, I assume you love running for whatever reason that is. But there are some things that if they sort of creep into your running habits, they may slowly or quickly kill the magic and some of the benefits, emotional, psychological, spiritual, physical, that running gives us. So I'm going to explore 5 things that can kill the magic of running. The first is the pitfall of getting too concerned about your personal image, or egos basically. I'm quite attached to my identity as a runner. I think it's cool and I'm proud of what I do. I love the sport and being out in nature. And at the same time, when we create an identity, we attach to it and then we want to preserve it and sustain it at all costs. So once other people have perceived you as a runner and you're like advertising that image, that identity, it may take you to make choices that take you away from your original why, and instead start putting more and more energy in promoting that image that you project to others, which means you have to feed others' expectations about what being a runner means in terms of how much you train, how fast you are, the cool things you do. And if that doesn't match what you're really feeling at the moment, then you feel like you have to live up to those expectations, which are actually mostly in your own mind. I think that's something that can sneak in to the habit of running and over time potentially create some kind of alienation. Are you a runner for any other reason than the fact that you have created an identity as a runner, and then you have to project that and live up to it both for yourself and for others? Or is there something about running that is fulfilling in a deeper way, and that is not about what image you want to project, and it's not about what other people might think? The second pitfall or derailer is an obsession with goals and results. In our culture, we cherish goals and we admire people who set ambitious goals and achieve them. I'm not saying that's wrong, but I think that this idea that life is about setting goals, achieving them and ticking them off and moving to the next goal sometimes becomes a bit obsessive, and also may miss the point of why are we doing things and in what way are they meaningful, rather than feeling successful. Basically what I'm saying is that it's of course good to keep track of your results. I do it myself, and to set goals for your running, but that is far from the only purpose of what I do. And if the objectives are not met and the results are not achieved, I try to cultivate my running as something that still gives me a lot of value in terms of my mental health, my spirituality, my fitness, being a better person privately and at work. And that does not depend on me achieving those specific running goals and objectives. Of course, they are a bonus, but it is a lot more about the process, the fact that I go out several times a week, that I find the time to invest in myself, to get in touch with nature, And that is the most rewarding. Then of course I have goals, I have results, and sometimes they make me happier and sometimes they don't. But I believe that an obsession with that can create a stressful relationship to running. As we know, some level of stress is good, but once you pass a certain degree, stress is more depleting than nourishing. The third way to destroy a bit of the magic, or a lot of the magic of running and its benefits, is quite simply when our habit and our delight of running turns, maybe without us noticing it, it turns into a little bit of self-punishment. Or if you turn that around, we lose the self-compassion in it. It could be related to the previous 2 points. And what I mean by this is that as much as running provides us with wonderful experiences and a lot of satisfaction, both in our brain, in our body, emotionally, there could be a hidden story in which we're battering ourselves, pushing too hard and not really listening to our personal needs, both physical, our body signaling that perhaps we're going too far, that we need to rest, that we should sleep more or eat more. But it could also be other needs of a more emotional character that we are fleeing from through our habit of running. So in a way, we're exhausting our bodies in a hidden message that we're not happy with who we are. It might look, it might feel, and we may argue that we're being nice to ourselves, but by going over what is reasonable and healthy, perhaps we're actually telling ourselves you're not good enough. It could be connected to setting unrealistic results. So running, like many other habits, can become a way of telling ourselves, I don't like myself fully as I am. So it's like the opposite of self-acceptance. And we can be very rude and very cruel to ourselves, sometimes in ways that we would never do with other people. So this third point is about being mindful that an apparently healthy habit as running stays that way, that it is nourishing our needs, and that we're building a stronger and healthier relationship to ourselves, and not where there's a voice in our head telling us that we're not good enough. The fourth habit or thing that can kill the magic of running, the way I see it, is getting stuck in your comfort zone in terms of how running plays out in your life. Or in other words, just simply that you reach a point where your running is extremely predictable. Maybe this says a little bit more about me, the fact that I like variation and I get a bit, not bored, but a bit understimulated if all my runs or my routines would be very predictable and following like a detailed schedule or something. I mean, having a training plan is fine, but the point I'm getting at is if all the running you do is within your routines, it means same distances, same route, same pace, and you're doing it quite mechanically, that can give you some kind of satisfaction in the sense that you have control and maybe it nourishes your discipline. Nothing wrong with that. But as we know, and this is what I work with outside of running, there's only learning and development when we are exposed to new things and we meet challenges. So I think your running might come routinary and under control, but perhaps not providing you any sort of growth and learning benefits as it could if you mix it in, if you give it some variation. So my advice, and you don't have to follow it, would be to spice your running with trying new things. And this can be, I mean, your creativity is the limit. It can be all varying distances, the type of terrain, discovering new places, running faster than you are used to just to test it, or slower if you're always sort of competing against yourself. Just enjoy, leave the watch at home and see what happens when you just run for fun and are not keeping all kinds of metrics and things. I don't know, anything that makes it interesting and different. If you always run alone, try running with some friends. If you always run with friends, try running alone. If you run with music, try running without headphones. If you've never tried running with music, oh, maybe you can try it or listen to a pod. Anyway, just try things out and see how that works for you. And I'm sure it will stimulate new things. You will like some things, not like others, but it will keep things interesting. And when things are interesting, our brain, our system is stimulated, and we discover new opportunities, we learn things, we become more aware of what we really like and what we really need. Well, and finally, the fifth factor or thing that can kill the magic of running is, perhaps not so surprisingly, comparing ourselves with others. And we all do that. It's kind of inevitable because it's a fact. You know, we're different. We are at different stages of our running history. We are at different ages. We have different interests, different whys. But even if I am avid Strava user and all that, it's very easy to get caught in some kind of judging those differences on a scale from cooler to less cool, or better to not so good. And there, you know, we enter a territory where we can totally lose the very meaning of running in our lives. We can judge ourselves very harshly, or think that our why has to resonate with some kind of culturally determined cool factor, how many races you run, or how fast you have become, or, you know, what a cool vibe there is in your running group, or, you know, or how brave you are to do big adventures on solo, whatever it is. You can be carried away and start playing a game of comparison to sort of justify the value of yourself and your own running. So accepting the facts first of differences and acknowledging your why, your strengths and perhaps weaknesses when it comes to running, and being mindful of that, and being able to appreciate your own running for what it is, and not in relation to others people's capabilities, or to what running may mean in their lives, because that's something different. You know, if the meaning of running in your life is only defined in relationship to others people's running practices, well, then maybe you should consider why you're running in the first place. So just be mindful of how comparison can go from something that can stimulate you to become better, that can be a lot of fun also, to something that is corrosive and sort of takes away the fun and enjoyment from running. It becomes a bit anxious, and you're like checking what other people are doing to see how you stack up to in comparison to them. I don't think I need to say anymore. You get the point. So those are the 5 things that can kill the magic of running.